Today I'm going to share with you 5 super easy, affordable spring crafts that will brighten your space for under $5 each. Welcome to the Chic Show. The 5 under $5 challenge is hosted by Emily from Farm Charm Chic. Be sure and check out her channel and the playlist in the description box below. I thrifted this little teacup and saucer quite a while ago, and I do actually use this saucer, but I did want to try and make it into a spring DIY. And because I do actually use it, I'm not going to be using hot glue or anything, but this is going to be sitting somewhere where it shouldn't get bumped, so it shouldn't be in any danger to break. I'm just using a little nest that I got from Hobby Lobby, I believe, and a little bit of Spanish moss, and I'm just trying to arrange that. I end up putting that Spanish moss inside the nest, but for now I've got it below the nest, and I'm going to be cutting apart some of these little sprigs of greenery and just stuffing that into the nest to make it look a little bit more organic. Never throw away your little scraps of greenery. You never know when you're going to need them. The little bird is actually very heavy, and it was a place marker for a table setting, and I just pulled the wire out of the top of it, and I'm just going to put it inside that nest. Now, I did put my saucer on top of the bottom of the cup simply because I wanted to do something a little bit different than just putting a nest inside the cup. These are some wood shims that I had in my craft stash, and I'm going to be using 4 of them, and I'm going to use some antique wax by Waverly mixed with a little bit of water, and I'm going to stain one side of all 4 of them, including the edges. Shims are like a very thin wedge, so one end is thicker than the other. So when I glue these together, I'm going to want one thick part to be glued to the thin part of the other one, and you'll see that in a few minutes. Now I'm going to take this sheet music that I thrifted, and I'm going to cut it to fit this piece of watercolor paper, and I had just cut this to fit in with my wood shims. I don't even know what size it is. And I'm simply doing this because I want to glue it onto that watercolor paper just so the music is a little bit thicker and has a little bit more stability. Then once I have done that, I'm taking one of IOD's pastiche stamps, and I'm just going to stamp these beautiful roses right in the middle of the music. Now I'm using some Titebond Quick and Thick, and I'm going to smear that onto the back of one of those shims, and then I'll place my music on top of it. Once I have my music placed, I'm going to add a little bit more glue to the top of it, and then I'm going to place down the other shim. And remember, here you're gluing the thick part of one end to the thin part of the other. And then I'm just using some clamps to clamp those together until they dry. I repeated the same thing on the bottom, and then I added one of these vintage clips that I actually ordered from Amazon to the top to be my hanger. I've thrifted a couple of different pretty little plates like this. This is about a salad size plate, I would say, and I love the scallop details and the flowers. I'm taking some of these little stamps. They're kind of like the clickable stamps that you can get from Michael's, and I'm spelling out a few words that I want to stamp to the front of this plate. I'm just arranging them so I can kind of see where I'm going to need to stamp. And then one at a time, I'm going to stamp the words. And I'm going to start this first line by stamping the first word and the last word so that I can space those out a little bit more evenly. When I got to that second row, I had some trouble with that first word, so I just removed the ink and then restamped it. If you know what this quote is from, leave a comment down in the comment section below. This is a little stoneware piece that I thrifted for 75 cents, and I'm going to be using, for the first time, some salt wash in this. I'm going to be using Ivory Paint by Waverly, and the salt wash says to apply or mix together 1 part salt wash to 1 part paint. I did add more paint than this because it was super thick, which is what it's supposed to be, but it was just thicker than I was anticipating. Now I'm just using an old brush and I'm just going to be globbing that paint all over this watering can. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It doesn't have to be neat. You do want it kind of thick and chunky because it's giving it texture, and that's the goal here. Once the paint is completely dry, I'm going to go back and give it a coat of Waverly chalk paint in black. And again, this doesn't have to be a full coverage coat. It's really just up to you in the look that you want. Now that that paint is dry, we're going to bring back some of that texture. I'm using my little finger sander and I'm sanding away at some of those higher textured marks to bring back some of that ivory paint color. Once I'm finished sanding this piece, I'm going to go over it with a little bit of watered down Waverly Antique wax. And this just really makes the piece look very aged by darkening up the ivory color and richening up that black color. This would really be cute with an actual plant in it, but I don't have any small plants at this point in the season, so I'm just going to use some of this baby's breath and a little bit of Spanish moss. And that Spanish moss is such a mess, isn't it? For the last project today, I'm going to be using some of IOD's pastiche stamps, but you can also find affordable stamps at Dollar Tree and on Amazon. Now, I'm going to be staining these wood tags that I did get from Dollar General with watered down antique wax. I'm staining the front and the back. I also purchased some white gift bags from Dollar General. You can also find these at Dollar Tree or Hobby Lobby. And I'm going to be stamping on this little bird and then the bird cage that you see right here. This is a great way to make your own gift bags that are unique and beautiful. And I'm going to be making 3 in all. The tags you see up to the right were some that I did for a different project. Now for this one, I'm using a little cloche and a butterfly. For the last bag, I'm using some of those beautiful roses that I used in one of the previous projects today. To finish the bags and the tags off, I'm using some smaller stamps, and I'm going to be stamping those tags that I stained, and these smaller stamps are from either Dollar Tree or Tuesday Morning. Not only are these great for gift giving, but I think they would also be great to sell if you have a booth. I would love to know which of these spring 5 under $5 projects was your favorite. And don't forget to check out Emily's channel in the description box below, along with the playlist where you will find lots more inspiration. Here's another video I think you might like. Thanks so much for watching. Remember to share the chic. Bye now.